Well, hey guys, it is September. And I love September because for me, it's the beginning of my new business year. That's when I start over all my business in September. Unlike a lot of people who do it in January, September is my January. But I won't confuse you with any of that. Just know this is like New Year for me. Anywho, today I'm going to try my best to try to explain how I manage my bills with credit cards instead of cash envelopes. I did try the cash envelopes in the beginning. I tried, I stumbled, I failed, I rambled. I did everything with cash envelopes to make it fit me and my personality, and it did not fit. I had to make it fit. It took 2 years to make it fit to my personality, and this is the way it fits. So I'm going to try to explain to you how I do this as easily as I can. So first off, I do still have a few cash envelopes. I do still have what I call purpose funds. That could be called sinking funds as well, but for me, they're purpose funds. And I do still do savings challenges. But the way I'm doing my savings challenges is I'm not having a specific goal for them. At the end of my challenge, I will decide how to reallocate those funds based on my purpose funds or based on what's going on at that time. Hope that makes sense. So what I generally do every first week of the month is I take out my journals, and no, I don't go through journaling and showing you what I write down and doing any of that because it's just too tedious and I need to get it right. Like, I don't want to be stumbling and bumbling over writing and erasing and scratching out and all of that. So I do all of that by writing out my bills on the due dates that they are due in my calendar. And once I do that, I'm able to write down whatever fixed expenses the amounts are. For example, my cell phone bill is normally a fixed expense of $196 every month, no matter what, unless I do something different. My U-Haul bill is going to always be $110 no matter what, unless I do something different. So those are my fixed bills. My variable bills, I cannot fill in until they bill, because it may be $30 today and it may be $100 the next month. So I can't bill it, I can't fill it in until I receive a bill from them. And I can't pay it until I receive a bill from them. Hopefully in the near future, when I get 3 months or 6 months ahead on my utility bills, I will be able to just pay it and let it roll over. In that sense, right now we're not there, so we're paying it as it bills. So that's first thing. I generally budget out my bills first. I know a roundabout estimate of what my bills should be every month, and I set my budget based on that. Now, right now, I am 3 months, 6 months ahead on some of my insurances, my dental, my rental, my car insurance, my scooter insurance. All those are paid up, so they are not included in my monthly billing right now. Should they be? That's a different story, because that's the purpose of saving up for those bills to continue to pay them in advance. I'm not currently doing that. Maybe one of my savings challenges will be used to do that in the future, but right now I have not allocated that to do that. So that's a different story. So I'm not including bills that have already been paid up 3 to 6 months. I'm not including those. What I am including are current bills that will bill every month unless I pay them up. So that includes things like I said, my cell phone bill, my water bill, my electricity bill, natural gas bill, U-Haul, all of the credit cards that I have. That's what this includes. Now, normally my bill budget is $1,450. That's every month regardless, because I don't anticipate adding any more bills. However, it can be up a little or it can be down a little based on whether I have a emergency or the bill increased like summer bills for my electricity skyrocket my bills. Whereas I'm used to paying $50 and $70 in the wintertime for electricity, it skyrockets to $300 and $400 in the summertime. Whereas my natural gas bill is $300 and $400 in the wintertime, it decreases to maybe $20 or $30 in the summertime. I'm trying to get those balanced, and I'm going to work around till I get it balanced where I'm paying one rate every month regardless of the bill, sort of like a budget bill or a scheduled billing, but I want to do it myself. I don't want the company to do it. I want to be able to do it myself and pay one amount every month for that bill regardless of what it is. That's what I'm trying to grow to, but I'm not there yet. My weekly expenses could be anywhere from $600 to $800. Now, I set that just based on what we have going on. Most of these bills, weekly expenses, are done on credit card. That's anything I need for my house, for myself, my self-care, my personal, my car, my transportation, oil change, a fuel pump break or what have you. All of that comes out on my monthly credit card. I have 2 credit cards. I use one only for bills and I use one for personal expenses only. They both keep a 0 balance to date. I try my best not to go over what my budget is because I know what I'm able to pay off at the end of the month. So I don't want to go over that because I don't want these 2 credit cards to carry over a balance ever. I have enough credit card debt. I don't want my personal expenses and monthly expenses to carry over a debt. So because of that, I ration out my savings challenges and the cash envelopes that I do have. So savings challenges may not get a lot every time. Cash envelopes that I do have on hand may not get a lot every time because that number is decreased by whatever I spend for the month. How do I keep up with what I spend for the month and for the week? Well, my credit card breaks it down into categories and my cash envelopes are arranged in similar format of those same categories. This is a partial sample from last month's budget of what I spent. But that's how I determine my budget. I'm not on a set budget amount every month. This month, it could be $1,000. Next month, it could be $2,000. One month, it could be $700. Next month, it could be $500. It's not set because my pay, while it's fixed in some areas, is variable in other areas. I don't pay myself the same every single week. I try to, but when I'm not able to, I don't. And I don't have to worry about it because that's how I pay myself every single week. All year round, I fluctuate in my pay. When I was just, spending money and doing what I want to do, I thought I needed a budget of a set amount. But one thing that I've really learned, and this is the honest to God truth, I don't really know how to manage money well. And I say that because I saw a clip on a show the other day.
Daddy, what's a budget?
Well, a budget is the amount of money someone has to do the things they need or want to do.
I don't want to have a budget.
When I saw this clip, I started laughing because when she said, well, I don't want to live on a budget, that was me. I never wanted to live on a budget. I wanted to be able to make my money, spend my money, and do what I wanted to do, pay my bills, but I still wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do, travel where I want to travel, and not have to be fixed on a certain amount or not spending a certain amount. So that's where my thinking was. I never wanted to do that. I always wanted to be the type of person who make the money and be able to spend it, save it, do whatever I want to do with it without any consequences. And I can save money, but I can also spend money. And that was the downfall. I could spend more money than I saved, that I wanted to save. So that led me to trying to create a budget. But no, I never wanted to live on a budget. And expense tracking is very tiresome to me sometimes. So I rely heavily on my credit card to break down this graph to let me know where my money is going. And by me swiping the card, I can spend less money. By me having the cash, I spend more money. That's just my mentality on things. I spend more cash than I do swiping a card. I don't know why, but some people are like that, and I'm one of those people. So while it's important, expense tracking, it is very tiresome to me, but I do have to keep up with it, because if I'm going over my weekly expense budget for that week, that's going to be a problem, because then that cuts into the money that I'm able to pay on my bills, and that's a problem. I never want my bills to go unpaid, and I never want things to get behind because I'm trying to live a life that maybe I shouldn't be living at that particular moment. So everything can be reduced except for my bill budgeted amount, except for the variable bills, the things that fluctuate in price. Anywho, September is a no spend month for me. That means I get paid 5 times this month. I pay myself every Monday. September has 5 Mondays. Some people call that a magic month. Some people call it a bonus month. I just call it me getting paid 5 times a month instead of 4, because for the simple fact that it's not a bonus, it's not an extra, it's just part of my regular pay for the year. And so when I get my last paycheck on the 30th, even though that would technically be to some a bonus check, for me, I have bills coming up September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th that has to be covered with that paycheck. But because I use a credit card, what I do is take my pay and pay that credit card all the way off, and then I start fresh. So say, for example, today last month, my bill total was $2,416. I took the $1,450 that was on the credit card. I paid that back. $966 was in cash anyway, so I didn't have to pay that back, but that's what I had to use to pay credit cards down and other things that came up like expenses. So my credit card coming into September is 0. Starting this week, September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th, I have bills to pay. So I have to go ahead and pay what I can on the credit card. The rest have to be paid in cash because it's 3 credit cards that's due this week. So that has to be paid with cash that I use from my pay. I take it from my income. And so whenever I use my cash envelopes, I only use those if an unexpected increase come or unexpected expense come. For example, if I budget for $300 for the power bill and it turns out to be $370, instead of putting that $370 on my credit card, I only put $300 on my credit card. And if I have enough in my envelopes, I take it out of there. If I don't have enough in my envelopes, then I have to take it out of my weekly expense fund. So that means a little got to come off of groceries, a little got to come off of gas, a little got to come off of self-care or whatever other categories I tend to have during the week. Hope all of that makes sense, because we are going to get into this week with this week's bills. So for September, I'm going to go ahead and pay, and I'm going to name these really, really quickly. It's life insurance, because that's a set expense. My shop and insurance, which is a set expense. My cell phone, I'm actually waiting on it to bill because I think it's going to be some additional charges from the international charges. So I'm waiting on that one, but normally I would go ahead and pay that $196. My U-Haul is a set expense, $110. I will go ahead and pay that. What will not get paid is water, natural gas, electricity. And the reason why those 3 will not get paid is because they need to bill in order for me to see what they are. Now, I have budgeted what I don't want them to go over. For example, I've already budgeted $60 for my water bill, and I hope that it's under that. For my natural gas bill, I've already budgeted $40, and I hope it does not go over that. For electricity, I've already budgeted $345 based on my last year's bill this time, and I hope it's not over that. I know it can be confusing, but all my utilities are whopped into one. I have them budgeted separate: water 60, gas 40, electricity 345, but they're whopped into one. So if after all of them get paid, 345, 60, 345, 60, 40. That's $445. So if after all of them are paid, I end up only paying $300, I'll have $145 remaining. But now if everything is over, $485 and I only budgeted for $45, I need $40 from somewhere. So I'm going to either look to my cash envelopes, or I'm going to look to cut $40 out of my food budget or my gas budget for that week. That's why I do those week to week. I don't budget for food and gas and other things like that for the month. I always budget those by the week because it helps me to keep track of my surplus of what I can put into my savings challenges. But 3 of my credit cards will get paid this week. I'm only doing the bare minimum this month because I need to get back on track with my pay schedule where I'm paying my debt off. And once I get back on my debt schedule, then that'll help. So I know this is a lot, but you guys asked for it. You wanted me to explain it. So here you go. That's how I do it. And that's why I mostly do it off camera, because even though I know how to do it, just sit down and just go at it and do it, I do have a lot of scratches and scrapes and notes and papers and stickies and this, but I'm trying to do it as cordially as I possibly can with you guys. And when I finish paying all my bills with the cash paying the credit cards and the credit card paying for my monthly bills, then I'll only have 3 bills left for this month to pay, and I won't be able to fully pay them until they bill. I'm going to pay them once they come out, and then I'll make a note whether it's over what I budgeted for or under what I budgeted for. Most of the time I'm rooting for under because that gives me more money to put into my savings challenges. So after all is said and done and everything was paid this week, and I allotted for my food, a budget for my food, a budget for my gas, and all of that, this is what I had remaining. Now, I have not gotten to the end of the week, but once I get to the end of this money here is based off of what I spent last week for food and gas and all of that. Next week will be based off what I spent this week. That's how I will determine what my budget is. Okay? So, what we have here is 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 140, 150, 160, 65, 70, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. $180 is what I had left from last week, because remember, I didn't really just do too much last week. I closed out with a good amount, but last week I didn't do too much spending on gas. I didn't do too much spending on outside food or anything like that. So I had a good bit left from that I could pull that I did not use. So this amount will go towards my savings challenges and my cash envelope. Next week, I'll expense track and I'll see what I didn't spend, how much I came under, and whatever I came under will go towards my savings challenges. At the end of the month, I'll see how my natural gas, water bill, and electricity come in. And if I'm under in my budget, then I'll have money excess to stuff into my envelopes and into my challenges. So that's how I use my 2 credit cards. I only use 2 to do that with, and I always try to keep a 0 balance on both of those, so I could start fresh at the beginning of every month and then pay it off. Now, unless I come into some extra cash some kind of way during the year, I don't really count it. I've learned not to count my chickens before they hatch. And even if they hatch, shake them to make sure they're breathing. Because you can count your chickens, they can hatch, and they could not be breathing. You could still end up with nothing. So don't count them before they hatch. And even if they hatch, shake them to make sure they're breathing. In other words, don't spend what you don't have. Wait and make sure that what you have is what you really have before you go on a spending spree. So that's what I've been trying to do here lately. Don't overspend and don't spend before I receive it. It's a no spend month for me. So I'm hoping to spend less anyway during the week, and we will see how that goes. Week 1 has $180 as we just counted. And my total budget that I've allotted myself for the entire month is $2,650. Last month, I allotted myself $2,500 only because I knew I would be traveling most of the month. So we shouldn't need much during that month. But I'm glad I did do it that way because I had those tags to buy and I had the unexpected U-Haul expense to do. So I'm glad I did budget less where I could have excess money and use less and have money in my cash envelopes to use. This month, I know it's a no spend month, so I went ahead and I increased my budget just a little bit to give me just a little room. And besides, I have that 5th check this month, so that kind of helps with that as well. We'll see how it goes, but for now, I'm going to stuff this 180, and this is how I'm going to do it. First, I'm going to put $50 towards my Niagara, and it's not a Niagara vacation. It's just me saving for an upcoming vacation. If you see my last video, closeout of August, you know that we try to take at least 3 trips per year. One in April, one in August, and one in October. And so I'm just saving up for whatever comes next. And this is a way that I'm doing it. These are in my shop, and you basically just save $50 and that's what you do. And you can also save extra at the back if you choose to. I haven't had what I've considered extra yet, but it's okay. If whatever I save in this binder will definitely go towards an upcoming vacation, either October or April. I don't know when, but it will definitely do that. The next thing I want to do is my random 4, and that's when I take my tablet and I go to random.org. And I go to numbers across the top. I choose integers. And then I generate 4 random integers between 1 and today I think I'll do 1 and 20. You get to choose whatever numbers you want it to generate from. And you get to choose how many numbers. I just choose 4. And I always choose between 1 and 20 unless I have less money here. Then I'll drop it down to between 1 and 10. And then I ask it to generate numbers. Ooh, and this time it gave me some pretty nice size ones. Hope I got enough. It gave me 6, 16, 20, and 19. So let's add that up and see what it is. I should have just stuck with 10. 6 plus 16 plus 20 plus 19. Ooh, that is $61. And this is my new envelope for September. We finished up the one in August. I did not count it. We will count it at the end in December. So $61 have to go in here, 20, 40, 60. And I'm not counting these. Like I said, I'm waiting until December to count them all. And I just decorated them with some little decorative paper that I had in my shop. And so we'll do this one all September. And when we're finished, we're going to toss it to the side like we did with the August one. And when December comes, we will count. All right, so that got a whopping $61. And I know y'all will keep record of it way better than I can, but we will count it. We'll count it together. Next, I want to do my Pinocchio book. And let's see. I want to put in, here. Um, 24. All right, let's do number 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. 24. Poor, is that Geppetto being hauled off to jail? Y'all know I still have not read this book I still have not read the entire book of Pinocchio. I am so sad. Oh my goodness. All right, with what we have left, I'm going to stuff some of my envelopes. These books I got it from Michael's craft store. Had it a while. I've done a lot of things with it. It served a lot of purposes, but right now it is serving the purpose as my one catch-all, my budget, my envelopes, my savings challenges, and I don't know when I'm gonna start the 1s and 5s and 10s and 20s challenge again, but I do plan to start that again at some point. Let's start with food. Food will get $10. And food now has 1, 20, 40, 60, 1, 20, 40, 60, 75, 85, 90, $90. Housing, we will put $5 in here. And housing now has 20, 40, 50, 60, 75, 85, 95, 100, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 110. Transportation will receive 10. And it now has 10, 15, 20. Health, we're going to actually skip this time. Personal is going to get 10. This is where I'm housing my $70 for my Verizon that I hope will not go over 70 extra. 20, 40, 50, 60, 75, 85. So it has $85, 70 of which will go towards Verizon international charges. Situations, we will actually skip, and month ahead we'll get $5. If I happen to need more for my Verizon bill, I'm going to take whatever out of month ahead. It has 20, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. $41 in month ahead. And last but not least, self-care will receive $5. And self-care now has 20, 45, 55, 65, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 90. $90 in self-care. All right, that'll do it, you guys, for me today. I hope that you were able to follow along with my explanation of how I pay my bills using credit card. If not, just shoot me an email, leave me a comment. If you saw something that I could do better, that I could change, a better way you know how to do it, make a suggestion in the comments. I appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe if you're just passing through and you happen to like what you heard or want to hear more, see my journey. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Until next time, you guys, enjoy your day, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Enjoy yourselves. Bye-bye, you guys.